Hi Virgo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your February 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all that. For those of you new to the channel, as well as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic crossbreed as always. And I also pulled the Four Agreements, Wisdom, and Oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by one of those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have the Sun, and the Sun is going to be in Aquarius up until around the 20th of February or so, give or take a day on either side, and then it'll be moving into Pisces. So 6th house into your 7th house. And 6th house points to health, work, daily routines, and 7th house points to partnerships, contracts, relationships. And speaking of Pisces, we have Pisces here too. So again, yeah, it could be a focus on your 7th house for sure. We just mentioned what that was about as well. And as far as astrologically, what's going on there, you guys have Neptune there. Been there for quite some time. And 4. So 4th house energy for you guys is Sagittarius. And actually, astrologically speaking, there's not really anything going on there, but I do see Sagittarius in your spread. And 4th house relates to your home, roots, and family. So yeah, let's keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the 6 of Cups, and challenging that, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So this is actually a Virgo energy here, and this is a Scorpio energy. What I'm seeing with this really could just be saying that you could just be longing to reconnect with something that might have brought you joy when you were younger, but you might feel like work just has you pulled away from those types of things, right? So you might feel like, okay, I'd love to kick back and maybe even go back to an old environment that you used to live in or visit a lot when you were younger. But again, you might feel like you're just so wrapped up in your work that you can't really take that time away to do so. For some of you, this could also be maybe wanting to reconnect with a specific person from your past as well. But again, feeling like, okay, well, I'm just so wrapped up in my work right now, it's not really the best time to do it, right? Now, to be fair, for some of you, this could even just be saying that maybe you're using that as a bit of an excuse, right, to avoid having to go back to something for your past. But for the majority of you, I think it was more of the first storyline. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, given that the Ace of Swords back in the spread is pointed right up toward those cards, it could just be saying that you might get some insight around that situation, right? You might come to a realization that, hey, maybe I have been too wrapped up in my work and maybe I do need to reconnect with something, right? You know, it could just be as simple as doing something you used to love when you were younger. Like I said, you name it. Reconnecting with someone from your past. But yeah, it could just be one of those things that helps reinvigorate you in some way. And like I said, I feel like you might get some insight into that could be what would be beneficial for you. All right. In the past position, we have the 7 of Pentacles. So yeah, here's another indicator that you guys have probably been pretty wrapped up in your work lives, right? And possibly feeling like the return on investment wasn't what it used to be either, right? Which makes sense, right? Like with the way inflation's going pretty much almost everywhere in the world, it could just be one of those things, excuse me, where if you're pulling in the same amount of money you used to, it doesn't have the same buying power it used to, right? So you might feel like you're falling behind, and that could be why you're throwing yourself even more into your work. All right, in the present position, we have Temperance. So this is Sagittarius energy here. And it could just be one of those things where it could just be saying, be on the lookout for signs and synchronicities that might point you to a way where you could find that balance between the two, right? Where you can actually get out, enjoy yourself, do the things you used to love, and also still be able to put energy toward your work lives without having the feeling that you're falling behind in some way. For some of you, this could represent a specific person too, right? Where maybe you'll see them do those things and you might start to observe them or maybe even ask them, like, hey, how do you guys manage to balance those things, right? Your work and home life seems to be really well balanced. So it could be something like that. And I do see sometimes with the Temperance energy, it could point to you might just feel like you're in a bit of a low energy cycle too, given that we see the sun in the background there, kind of low in the sky. All right, in the near future position, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So speaking of low energy, right, this could be one of the worst things that can happen to you if you do overwork yourself. Sometimes your body will eventually say, all right, well, if you don't want to take a break, we're going to kind of force it on you, right? So be on the lookout for potential illness. I don't think it's going to be anything major for what it's worth, but it could just be one of those things that derails you for a few days anyway, right? So would you rather have taken the few days on your own free will or have it happen due to a sickness, right? That could be what this card is pointing out to there. And for some of you, this could also just be saying maybe seeing how maybe it's your perspective on money as well that could be causing a bit of a problem, right? Where you might feel like you might genuinely feel that if you do, oh, I'm going to take a long weekend or something, you might feel like you'd fall behind within that time, right? And feel like you're at a disadvantage financially. So that could be what's at play there too. All right, the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Four of Swords. So yeah, now here's a good thing here as far as what we were just talking about, even though this card won't focus. But what I see this as saying, given that Libra energy for you guys is actually your second house of finances, it would just be saying that you might be doing some healing around how you do view finances, right? So, like I said, if you had some kind of an unhealthy mentality around your finances, like, oh, I can't possibly take a day off because if I do, I'm going to fall behind, right? So, it could just be one of those things where you're getting a bit of a shift in perspective there. Now, I do have to say, linking this with the Five of Pentacles, though, this could just point to an actual physical healing that you might be going through again, possibly because you might have overworked yourselves and ended up with a minor sickness. So, something to be on the lookout for sure, especially with the fact that we're going to be in Aquarius season, which is your sixth house, which, like I said, that does relate to your health, to your daily routines. So that's definitely a possibility for some of you. All right, in the environment position, we have the Ace of Cups. So yeah, to me, I almost see this as, given that we were just talking about the Six of Cups energy there, I feel like this is saying that there's going to be something in your environment that's pointing you to taking a little bit of time away, right? To connect with something you love, do something you love. Right now, if you happen to truly, genuinely love your work, then awesome, right? But for others of you, I feel like this is saying, take a little bit of time away. That could really help recharge you, right? So you might view it as, oh, I'm losing a day of productivity here. But if your battery's starting to run low anyway, right? If you look at the Seven of Pentacles energy, taking a little bit of time away could actually be what helps reinvigorate you for your work as well. So something to keep in mind there. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Knight of Swords. So, I mean, for a lot of you, this could be a hope, right? Where, I really feel like you just want to attack things, or you want to keep going, you want to push forward, you want to keep striving toward a goal, right? And for fear, primarily, that you would fall behind. Now, I will say that this energy tends to come up a lot during Mercury retrogrades, and technically Mercury retrograde just wrapped up. We're going to be in a post-shadow period for a little bit, but it could even be pointing that for some of you, right, where maybe you've been reevaluating those things as far as, like I said, maybe your viewpoint toward your work, right, and work versus play, things along those lines. But yeah, for a lot of you, like I said, I feel like it's more if you really do want to just keep pushing toward a goal. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Four of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that you really are just going to rely solely on focusing more on the financial, right, the tangible, and feeling like, again, like I said, like, yeah, it might have a fear around loss when it comes to money, which, like I said, understandable to an extent as far as, like we said, the economy's a little crazy right now, so everyone might feel like their money's going in a lot, coming out a lot faster than it's coming in, rather, right? But that's what I see with that. But yeah, now, on a more positive way that this energy can play out too, though, could just be saying that you're really being smart about how you use your resources, right? So this could be one of those things where, like, okay, I have X amount of money. Let me think about where I might want to invest that, right? How I might want to invest that, how I might want to spend my time, my resources, right? So it could just be on a more positive sense that it's going to be something that's on your mind. And, I do point out to people, if you think about earth signs, your financial house, well, houses basically, your earth houses, let's say, are actually ruled by air signs. So naturally, it makes sense that you think a lot about money, right? So, but yeah, that's what I see with that. And bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands. So yeah, to me, I view this is more of the vision that's there, right? It's available to you, but again, like I said, I feel like it's a bit of your perspective that's actually causing a bit of a blockage when it comes to these things. And interestingly enough, beneath that, we see the sun as well. So, I mean, two really positive cards at the bottom of the deck. So, yeah, like I said, I feel like for a lot of you, you might actually already be in that process where you are looking at how your relationship to money is, right? And if it's healthy or not, right? Like I said, for some of you might genuinely love what you're doing. The Eight of Pentacles energy, sometimes I view that as an entrepreneur type energy anyway. And a lot of entrepreneurs do tend to do something that they actually love, right? As opposed to someone who gets hired in a more traditional job, but that could be 50-50, right? But yeah, so it's one thing if you are genuinely enjoying the work you do, but like I said, even with that being the case, just be on the lookout for a little bit of burnout this month. I feel like, again, it'd be more of a minor thing, not like a long-term chronic illness or something, but something that could flare up and take you out for a few days. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have always do your best. There we go. And it says, practice makes the master. Okay. It says, by doing your best over and over, you can master the art of transformation. By doing your best, habits of misusing your word, taking things personally, and making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent with time. So interesting message there too, because like I was saying, I feel like in certain situations, if you are approaching burnout, then it is hard to do your best around a situation, right? If you're just low energy, you might end up missing certain details that you wouldn't normally miss, right? And you might view, oh, I can't possibly take a day off because I'll fall even more behind, but sometimes something like that could actually be a good reset for you to take. All right. And for your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Blessed. There's the artwork, and the number is 22. So let's see what that has to say. Okay, essential meanings says something wonderful that is unearned and unexpected, grace that is an unforeseen gift from spirit. So interesting, reading that made me think of this temperance thing where, like I said, you might actually get some insight on how you can find that balance, right? Where you feel like, okay, I could actually work and not feel like I'm falling behind, and I could also take some time away, right, and feel refreshed. So you'll look out for that. But yeah, let's see what the rest of it says. The Oracle's message says, there are moments in life when out of the blue it seems that everything has been orchestrated by divine intervention. You feel blessed in ways that are difficult to express. It's as if the Red Sea parts in front of you, and events come together to banish your troubles easily and naturally. You know deep down you did not deserve any of it, and yet here you are. This is one of those times. Let awe and gratitude for all your blessings guide you now. So yeah, that wording always seems a little weird to me when I read this one about deep down, you know, you did not deserve any of it. But yeah, like I said, maybe you will end up getting some kind of insight that really does help you strike that balance that you might have struggled to find to this point. All right, the relationship message says you are moving toward a deepening of intimacy in a unique and sacred partnership. You know you are meant to make this connection. This union, blessed by the divine, will bring transformation and beauty to the world. This is also a sign that, even more important, you're being called to a deeper intimacy with yourself and spirit. With this new development, you will see evidence of grace in your life. So yeah, pretty positive message there. Connection with spirit, that makes me think of the Ace of Cups energy we see, and also the Temperance. And of course, if there is someone that you're physically connecting with, that message should resonate with the Ace of Cups energy there too, although I didn't necessarily at first see it as more of a physical person coming into your life in that way, but hopefully that resonated. Okay, the prosperity message says unexpected windfalls and good fortune come your way now. You're in a phase where any difficulties or obstacles that have stymied your success seem to disappear on their own. Be ready to receive. The windows of opportunity will open wide. Accept the blessings given to you now, and don't forget to share them. So interesting there where it says obstacles seem to disappear on their own, because that made me think of what I was saying, right? Where you could keep working and working and possibly end up with burnout, whereas maybe you do take a couple days away and then you might feel like some kind of blockages you have when you come back to your work, you might actually feel reinvigorated, right? So that's another way that could play out there too. Hope it resonates. And lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. This is your Mudra here. It's the Matangi Mudra, and the keyword for it is authenticity. And there's the info. If you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it has to say, but under benefits, it says facilitates diaphragmatic breathing, benefits the abdomen and abdominal organs of digestion, assimilation, and elimination, activates the power of spirit, improves discernment and self-honesty, improves the voice and ability to communicate inner feelings. So if that sounds like a Mudra thing to be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description below as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.